Today's episode is one that I think every mum needs to hear, especially as we head into the summer holidays. We are talking about body confidence and how to stop letting comparison or insecurity keep you from wearing what you want, doing what you want, and from enjoying your summer. Welcome to the Happy Thriving Mums podcast, the show that talks about the simple actions busy mums like you can take to prioritise your own health, happiness and fitness. And it doesn't stop there. This show also includes amazing stories from remarkable women who help others to be the best version of themselves. Because if you feel great, you thrive, and so does your family. So, if you're ready to overcome mum guilt, manage overwhelm, feel and look your best, and create a happier, more balanced life for yourself and your family, this podcast is for you. Hi and welcome. Right, let's get straight in. So this time of year can bring up a lot for mums, right? We've got dreams of holidays just around the corner. We know that there's a change of wardrobe coming in. There's going to be swimwear, there's going to be beach days, there's going to be time outside in the sun. Hopefully, being in England, that is never a guarantee. But instead of joy and looking forward to this, sometimes these thoughts of summertime, changing wardrobe, can hit us with a wave of dread or comparison. I mean, sometimes you just think about the fact that it is only a few weeks away to the summer holidays, and that can give you a fear of dread. But then there's the kind of complexities of everything else that goes around it that also can make you feel slightly insecure at this time of year. So you might find in your head you're saying things which might be slightly unkind to yourself, or just troubled and anxious feelings of things like, oh, I've got nothing to wear, oh gosh, I can't wear that, I don't look like that person who wore that the other day. You might be thinking about how your body looks and have this kind of like wish that your body would return to what it was like before you had your children. You might have these thoughts of, once I lose that baby weight, then I'll get back into my clothes again, then I'll be happy and feel good in myself, then I can enjoy the summer. You might be wishing that you could fit into those favourite clothes that you wore before you had your children. These thoughts are so common amongst women who have had children. It is just something that we either live with, swallow down, move on, don't think about it, or some of us address it and really move forwards. But I think that every single woman at some stage of her life has uttered a thought or something along these lines. And it's kind of linked to your whole feeling of worth and self-worth and confidence and self-esteem, that we can sometimes have these thoughts going around our head, or have those kind of like ideas from our little shoulder angels which kind of like niggle you and like kind of poke away and make you feel that actually sometimes the way you look or what you wear or how you are isn't quite good enough. So today I want to kind of dispel some of these myths, because let me tell you, and I'm saying this straight away for you to hear, you are incredible. You are amazing. No matter what you think, how you perceive yourself, how you see yourself in the mirror, whether you wish that you were slightly different, whether you wish your body looked different, whether you wish you weighed a bit less, whether you weighed a bit more, that your clothes fitted better, whatever it is, you are incredible. And there are so many reasons why you need to sometimes, if you feel that those thoughts of negativity and that kind of negative self-talk is something that comes into your vocabulary and comes into your chat in your head, we need to remember that actually you as a human, you as a woman, you as a mum have been through a lot. Your mind has been through a lot. Your body has been through a lot. And actually you have had this amazing lived experience within your life, which somewhere has to show up, and it can show up physically, can show up on your face if you're feeling tired. I know quite often I am tired, and my children have quite clearly said to me, "Mummy, you look terrible, you look really tired." And I know that's because I haven't got enough sleep for whatever reason, or whatever the reason I look tired. It's tiring being a mum. But there are so many other lived experiences that we have had which makes us look a certain way, can make us act a certain way, can make us speak in a certain way. And this can be to ourselves as well as to other people. So let's think about this physically. You have a post-baby body after you have had your children. Someone that I was speaking to when I was doing I think it was actually my core fitness, my core strength course that I was doing when I was doing my qualification for my personal training. The instructor said about once you've had a child, you are always postnatal. Your body is always a postnatal body. Because if you think about it, when you have your children, your body does an incredible amount. Your body changes carrying a baby. It changes at so many different points throughout your pregnancy, the different trimesters. And then when you actually physically have your baby, there are more changes that occur. There are hormonal changes. There are things which happen to help you get your baby out, like episiotomies or using ventouse or whatever. They can change it. If you've had a C-section, that changes your body. All these things related to carrying children, childbirth, are just quite traumatic events for your body to actually go through. Then after that, your body changes again when we go through the menopause and our hormones start to change. And then if you rewind and think back to your teenage years, your body changed then as well. You changed from a girl into a woman. Your body is always evolving. And when you actually sit down or take a second to think about all these different changes that your body goes through and your mind goes through and your hormones go through, it is absolutely incredible. It is overwhelming. And the changes that we experience as women, as I've just outlined, are so different to what men go through, aren't they? When you think about how a man evolves over time, he doesn't have to carry a baby. He doesn't have to have a baby. He doesn't go through the menopause. I mean, as a woman, physically and mentally, we evolve. It is that journey. It is that process. And it is really, in a way, it is never ending. If we consider that when you enter perimenopause and before you go through the menopause, some women are in that state, if the state is the right word, that process, that time period, for quite a lot of years. There are years where we can be changing in our moods and our feelings, and how we show up can be so affected on such a regular basis that actually we need to give huge credit to ourselves about how amazing we actually are. So if we're thinking about this physically, of course there is, like, undoubtedly it's no surprise that some of us, every single one of us probably at some point, have a kind of strange feeling or a strange relationship or ask questions about our bodies and why they are a certain way, and think about how we actually would like them to be slightly different, or how we want them to do something else or look a certain way. And the fact that we are always changing is actually incredible, because we have to show up differently at these different stages. And that is probably what we are built to do as a woman, that inbuilt computer within us, our brains, our hormones. They are there to actually help us navigate these changes and these situations that we find ourselves in, which I think in some ways you never really know how you're going to react to these things that you're going through, which is just nature's course. I'll give an example. My body changed during pregnancy. Everyone's changed during pregnancy. Things that I didn't expect or nobody spoke about happened, that I had no idea the havoc that being pregnant was going to play on my pelvic floor muscles and my core, and how that was going to change, and how then for quite a long time after I'd had my children, my pelvic floor muscles were really weak, and sneezing, coughing, laughing, running, exercising, all of those things were so troublesome to me that it actually gave me a lot of a lack of confidence, because I didn't know if I was going to chase after my kid when they ran off in a supermarket aisle, if I was going to like wet myself as I'm chasing after that child. It kind of can be all encompassing. So there are changes. I've just gone through all the changes, but we navigate them so amazingly that we need to just maybe be a bit kinder to ourselves, to realise that actually these things are quite hard to go through. We do it, we get on with it, we get from one end to the other, you get through them. So when it comes to something like the summer, where I think everybody ends up feeling a little bit more exposed to maybe how you feel about the way you look or what you wear or your body type or your body image or even your self-esteem and the inner feelings that you have. Summer really can become this time where there is a spotlight, or you feel that there is a spotlight shined on you, and it can just really give this time of kind of, for want of a better word, self-love going out the window and kind of these dreams of something different coming to the forefront. So with this in mind, what problems we have often come externally as well as from our own internal feelings towards ourselves and how we look. So we know that in social media, this is one of the things that encompasses our whole lives now. I don't know how long you spend on social media on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, but when you get that kind of, I don't know if everyone gets it, but that message that you get at the beginning of the week telling you how much time you spent on social media or on your phone for the previous week, sometimes it can be quite shocking. But if you think about what you're consuming within that time, whether you're just scrolling or whether you're using it for business or whether you're just using it because you enjoy being on there, posting things for your friends and family to see, that time that you spend on there, you see a whole lot of stuff. Our minds are so overstimulated that sometimes you don't really know what is real and what is fake. And I think we can all agree that actually there is quite a lot of fakeness on social media. There is unrealistic images, there is filters, there is probably people taking photos 100 times before they choose the one which they're actually going to post. In the back of our minds, we forget that a lot of it is unrealistic. And we look at these people that seem to be having the best lives, they're looking a certain way, they're wearing certain clothes, and everything is so rosy. But actually, that's not a real story. I think there is a lot of accounts now which actually try and show much more reality, kind of show the like actual living of life and all its warts and all. But I think we still see a lot of stuff which makes us think, oh, I'm inadequate, I'm not good enough, what I wear isn't great. So I think that's our first problem, where this pressure and feelings towards body confidence and our self-image can become a problem. And obviously this has grown and grown and grown. When we were children, thank goodness there was no social media. I'm so grateful for that. But looking ahead, this is going to be something that's going to be in our children's lives. And it shows them the way some people apparently live and see the world. Whether it's realistic or not, what you see quite often is what you believe. So we need to try and educate our children here as well to believe that what they are is incredible enough. They are worthy of everything and they don't have to look a certain way or be a certain person. They just need to be themselves. I think the other thing, or another pressure that we've placed upon us, especially for my age group, I know I'm in my 40s now, is what a summer body should look like. So what a summer body should look like. There is so many messages out there about summer bodies. Get summer ready. Look this way. You should look incredible in a bikini. You should have kind of like this thin body. A summer body is a thin body. But is that actually true? What about a strong body? A summer body should be a strong body. A summer body should be your body. A summer body should be just nothing about your body, but all about enjoying your life, loving who you are, loving what you've got, and experiencing a lived body, one that has experience. I saw something, again, it was on social media, but I think it was a 50-year-old lady, and she was wearing this gorgeous dress, and she was posting about the fact that she looked really healthy. I can't remember if she was a fitness influencer or whatever she did, but she was there. And she was commenting in this post about the fact that she'd had messages saying, oh, you've got like the body of a 30-year-old. Wouldn't you like your face to look a little bit younger too? And firstly, how rude is that? But secondly, her response was really cool because she actually turned around and she said, I don't want to look like a 30-year-old. I am not 30. I am 50. I have had this life. I have lived. I have experienced all kinds of stuff. Why would I want my face to look like a 30-year-old? And I loved that response because she's just saying, look, this is me. This is how I look. I am proud of the fact that I have lived these 50 years of my life. This is what it has made me look like. And actually, I'm comfortable with this. I'm comfortable in my own skin. I look after myself. I nourish myself. I exercise. But this is me. How liberating and empowering. She was incredible. I wish I could remember her name was because I'd love to give her a shout out. The other pressure problem, I think, for people of my age and in my age group is how old beliefs about worth and what is beautiful and what we should look like are so kind of ingrained within us and tied to appearance. So I grew up in the 90s, and I don't know if you did too, but I have stuck in my memory these ideas of what is beautiful, who looks beautiful, what this beautiful idea looks like. And it was all linked to the supermodels, to Kate Moss, to absolutely being stick thin, for eating a lettuce leaf for lunch, for all of these things. That is what beauty was in the 90s. And that is what we were sold. We were sold this idea that unless you looked a certain way, unless you were a size 8 or a size 10, unless you had big boobs, unless your hair was a certain way, then you are not a beautiful person. You are not somebody that is perceived as beautiful or attractive. And I think this was something that really stuck with me for many years, because when I was growing up, I wasn't a large child, I wasn't a small child. I was probably one of those middling children, had puppy fat and kind of not particularly anything, just an average kid. But yeah, I felt inadequate because of the fact that I wasn't this supermodel persona. And that is so far from what any of us should be anyway, because it's actually so unhealthy. What I believe we should be aspiring to now is very, very important in the first instance to love yourself, to know how you feel inside, and then think about how you actually carry yourself and how you go about your day, talking to other people, relating with others, and how you make other people feel. That is what people truly notice. If you can shine from the inside out, you are beautiful no matter what. I think it's in the Twits by Roald Dahl, where they've got that beautiful line that perfectly captures kind of this concept. A person who has good thoughts can never ever be ugly. You can't have a wonky nose. Sorry, I'll start that again. A person who has good thoughts cannot ever be ugly. You can have a wonky nose and a crooked mouth and a double chin and stick out teeth, but if you have good thoughts, they will shine out of your face like sunbeams, and you will always look lovely. You will always look lovely. And whilst I say about this idea of you will always look lovely if you've got all these lovely thoughts, I'm not saying we should completely withgo our health in this, because having a decent level of general health is so important, and it can hugely help your self-worth and your feelings of self-confidence. And most importantly, by ensuring that you eat well, that you exercise regularly, that you do things that light you up, that you spend time with people you love, you make connections with people. That is good for your health. And if you are maintaining all of those things, then you have a healthy body. You will look healthy. You will glow. And then obviously combining this with kindness, shining from the inside out, then you're just going to shine. You're going to be beautiful regardless of what anybody else thinks of you. I think we also need to remember about kind of what our children think of us. You know, deep down, despite the day you've had, despite maybe what's happened, despite how they are, your children know the fact that you are amazing. They love you unconditionally for who you are, and they don't care what you look like. They love you for being you and the love that you give to them and how you make them feel. So I think it's really important to remember that we are conditioned to believe that beauty is one thing, but we need to break this. We need to break this thought of that beauty is one thing. It is not true. It is not true. And it is not true that people who look different cannot take up space, cannot make an impact in the world, and cannot be joyous and completely happy within themselves. So let's really embody everybody and think about how we are and what you do and how you show up and how you are to other people, because that is the real beauty, and therefore that should help you to completely shine in the summer, in the winter, in the autumn, in the spring, all throughout. It's so, so important. The final thing I want to mention here is the fear that we can have from how we will be judged by others. How we feel in our body is written across our face sometimes. But really, when we are in a situation, does anybody actually notice the things that we are less keen on about ourselves? Does anybody really think that, oh, you are wearing that or you look a certain way and is that good or is that bad? Do people actually notice? Probably not as much as we think. I know that I've had friends which have gone on holiday and have been really nervous about going down to the pool and kind of sitting at the pool feeling that they might be judged wearing whatever they're wearing. But actually, I think when you're on holiday in the summer, people are just there to have a holiday and have a nice time, especially if you're away with your kids. Most people are so having to be wrapped up in watching what their children are doing, whether they're like jumping in and out of the pool, splashing people, what's going on. I don't have the time to look around particularly at other people and where I am, and I wouldn't judge them for how they look or what they're doing particularly, because I don't know their inside story. I don't know what's going on. They might be having a tough time. They might have an underlying health problem. You just don't know. But it's this fear of judgment that can really get in our heads sometimes and make us get in our own way. And this can also link hugely to putting off exercising, because a lot of people that would love to get into exercise to help them feel a little bit healthier, to help them kind of manage anxiety, to help them lose a bit of weight that they put on when they were pregnant with their children, whatever the reason that people decide they'd like to exercise for, it can be really worrying getting into it and starting either from scratch or starting again, because some people think that you need to be fit to exercise or to go to the gym. But if you don't exercise, you will never get fitter and you will never have those feelings that you should be able to go and exercise, if I've explained that well enough. So sometimes we need to acknowledge our fear of judgment, acknowledge the fact that we are worried about what other people might think. But actually, we then need to make that decision that, okay, let them think what they're going to think, like Mel Robbins would say. Let them. That's their problem. It's not our problem. Go out, do what you want, and enjoy your life. So, how can we deal with this? What things can we do to help deal with this, as well as think, let them, and move on? A lot of it is about thinking about our own views and mindset on how we perceive ourselves. So, I would really like you to try to kind of question your own beliefs about what you think of how you look, how you are, that kind of thing, how you see yourself, your self-confidence, your self-esteem. I would like you to just think about how you look after yourself. How do you prioritize yourself? Do you allow yourself to go and move, to exercise? Do you worry about it? Do you look in the mirror and think a certain way? What are the certain things which can kind of like sometimes make you feel worried about embracing you and how you look and who you are? Because you are beautiful and you are incredible. So really, we need to get to a point where you don't have to shrink. You don't have to hide. You are there to be you and to live this life that you have been given. So one thing that I am going to be doing in the next few weeks is I'm on a summer mission. So I want as many women as possible to feel great about themselves, to feel great about how they look, to feel great about who they are, about what they do, about what they stand for. So I am starting a 30-day summer confidence challenge. So within this challenge, I'm going to each day do a very short podcast episode, a couple of minutes long, where I'll give you a little prompt or a challenge or something to try in the day. And then over 30 days, the idea is by doing these things, you are going to feel great about yourself and you're going to feel ready for the summer. You're not going to worry so much about any of the summer anxiety that you might have, and just help you to feel great. If it's not the summer when you're listening to this, you can do this at any time. If you just want to dip in and out and do a few of the things, or do a week and then see how it makes you feel, that's fine too. But I thought I'm going to start this in the lead up to the summer holidays to try and change a bit of our mind shifts, mindset, and feel really, really great. So if you would like to join me, I will be putting out the details soon. There'll be a sign up in the show notes. And I would just love to hear your thoughts on summer body confidence, how you feel about the summer compared to the other seasons, and how you go about loving yourself, because you are incredible. So thanks so much for listening. Please share this episode with a friend or anyone you think would love to hear this. And I hope you have the best day.